quarterback.
Based on prize approval, we're gonna start our work.
Thank you, Brian.
Go.
Well, maybe I'll let you on. if you
Fuck.
don't. All right, well, I'll kick it
Welcome, everybody.
back.
We need to do a
You,
roll
like,
call.
you want anything from me?
No, I don't think
You
so. I
need-
mean, yeah, I can talk
Silver
about.
plate?
Yeah, so this is the budget workshop. We have met, well, myself and Yvonne kind of met to start in on the 2026 budget. We kind of took first pass, and then we met with the finance committee, which consists of the department heads, myself, Yvonne, and two council persons, and went through, and we've kind of gone through line by line and made adjustments that we think are necessary. The objective of tonight, I think, is to go through those, get feedback from any of you on the board. Of course, the department heads are here to speak on behalf of their respective appropriations. And then, once we kind of get that information, we'll go back, I'll update any changes. And then, as of now, we have I don't have my notes in here, the public hearing. I'll let you know the meeting dates here, but it's gonna be here in the next couple of weeks. A public hearing and adoption, but,
On October 1st.
is it October? I've got the old ones in there, I need to pull up the other one, but I think it is October 1st and the 15th.
Is that during a regular meeting or before the meeting?
It's just,
It's in the record.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, whatever we schedule, we're at your regular meetings.
Okay. We keep scheduling a lot of meetings.
Yeah, no, we put it in a regular meeting. Yeah.
We don't have to have the additional meeting yet, it starts next year.
Yeah, for the tax rate, changing the tax rate. I provided you with two handouts. The first one is a single page, and this is what, in the budget world, we call the 4D, or it's like a cash flow, and it's got all the funds on there, and I'll go through that, here in a minute. And then the other schedule, or the other packet, is 3 pages, and it's your line item, or Form 1, so line item budget. And we'll just kind of go through that line by line. I will try and keep it as brief as possible, but obviously we can sit and discuss whatever you guys want in length. Yvonne's prepared a fund report as of 6/30/2025 and an appropriation report through 6/30/2025. So with that, should I go ahead and just want to jump
You
in?
just don't
Or
jump right
maybe
in.
we'll start with the single page. I'll just, a quick kind of cash
You
flow.
call that 4D?
For B,
B.
yeah,
4D.
I have no idea why it's named that, or not, that's what the LGF refers to it as, but that's where we bring all the information together and develop the cash flow. And so I'll just go through, just to remind everybody, how a budget is prepared in Indiana. So we look at it on a 18-month cycle. So if we look at like the general fund, for example, that top line, the first column we start with is that's your cash balance at June 30, 2025. We then have the property taxes we expect to receive from July 1, 2025 to December 31, 2025. So basically your December settlement. So right now we're projecting $387,255. We then account for the miscellaneous revenue for the second half of 2025, which most of that $385,000 that you see comes from your certified shares, your lit. We then,
Meaning locally.
local income tax. We then put in the expenses or remaining budget for 2025. So $860,009 is the unspent budget in your general fund for the rest of 2025. We take all those numbers and do the arithmetic across to come up with a projected cash balance at 12/31/2025. So in our general fund, we're projecting a cash balance of $2,472,369. So that's the first half of all of this. So we get to an ending cash balance or beginning 26 cash balance. From there, we move into our budget year, so 2026. So that first column you see is your proposed tax levy. So real quick on that to remind everybody, we're subject to a maximum levy, right? That is what we can charge the ratepayers through property tax. And so in this case, we have split our max levy between the general fund and the MVH fund. So your total max levy with a 3-year growth appeal, which you qualify for, is $1,342,901.
That 3-year growth appeal has not yet been
Approved.
approved.
Yeah.
So we're thinking we're gonna get it.
We've got it in here. We're going to apply for it. A resolution will come before you. I don't know if it'll be at the next meeting, but the meeting after that, in which you all will vote for the town to proceed to apply for that. So qualification is the first step. You qualify because your growth, your 3-year average growth in AV has been 29.92%. So call it 30% growth in AV average, which is about as high as I'm seeing anybody right now.
And the state
Good job,
only increases the levy by 4% because the state as a whole only is expected to grow 4%.
But
We grow that much more, 30% in 3 years.
Yeah.
So,
You're automatically given an increase in your levy of 4%. We're appealing to them to say, look, we've got significantly more growth than the average community, therefore services, and Bob and Steve and Jim can speak to that, of the services that are required to service that additional growth, therefore we need more money. And so we're going to apply for that. It quantifies to about $267,000. Yeah, we'll fill out the paperwork and answer the questions, and it's never guaranteed. But for now, we're gonna assume we get it because I think we should get it, and
and
we need
this
it.
is the last year to
legislation has done away.
SB1 has taken this away. One of the many wonderful things that SB1 did was eliminate this. It was originally out completely, and then everybody went, hold on. We've been planning for this, because we know, like I already know for 27 if you would qualify for it. You can see it based on the calculation. So we start planning for it. So they got that legislation changed to at least put it back in for this year to keep that appeal in there. But after that, there's nothing there.
feel free to send emails to your legislators about how
Especially your
disappointed you are
legislators.
that it's no longer available because we continue to grow well above the average speed of the state, and we really could dearly use that additional levy that they've taken away.
So back to this schedule. So then you have our property tax levy. So for the general fund, as of now, we have that $1,102,901. We take account for the circuit breaker loss. That, I've had conversations with many of you, that is impacted by a lot of things. Honestly, historically, we kind of just look at what the circuit breaker was last year. We make a conservative estimate is what it is. So, right now we've got $33,000, maybe more, maybe less, depending on, a lot of it depends on what you guys do. We talked about the town hall project, but also like the school, the township, all those overlapping units and their impact on the overall tax rate. So a lot of times you don't know because we don't know the impact because we don't know what everybody's doing. So we do account for it here. We then add in miscellaneous revenue projections for next year, $948,000. We take all that, and right now, and we're gonna go through that Form 1 here in just a minute, we've got a proposed budget of $2,431,774. I put in there that receipts and disbursements, that is what it says, so I've basically taken all the receipts from 2026, subtracted the budget, and right now we have a $414,000 deficit budget. And then we'll go through the details of why that is, which leaves you with a projected ending cash balance of 2026 of $2,057,000. And it's all the same all the way down through those funds. I think we'll go into the budget side of things for each of the funds, but the math works for those. So, any questions on that at this time? All right. So, if you want to, we'll just jump right into the budget. So that's the 3-page kind of line item package here. And I tried to make this as big as I can.
Thank you.
You know, it's there's a lot of information on here. So it's separated by fund. So you'll see those first 2 columns there. This is 1101, which is your general fund, and then categories. So I guess just, you know, really starting at the top, all of the numbers in here reflect, other than when I point out a 2% across the board increase, except for I'll point out some items that have different changes to that. But we did not propose a council salary change.
Correct.
We can. We just, I think historically, we've been given the feedback that that's not something that. So, then you go ahead and go down clerk treasurer, right? All those finance clerk, town manager, and deputy clerk treasurer salary. Those changes reflect 2%. Also, what's reflected in here, I think Yvonne, I don't know if everybody's on that email. So Yvonne's gone through the salary allocation. If you remember, like her salary, for example, is paid from multiple funds. So general fund, wastewater, stormwater, a couple of different funds. And so some of them didn't quite make sense. So we took this year to, and frankly, it was Yvonne, go through and
We
fix
looked
that.
at what made sense and what didn't make sense. I sent you in the email, you all got this little Excel spreadsheet basically showing that, for instance, clerk treasurer and deputy clerk treasurer is broken down at 47% through general, 0% from MPH, 42% from wastewater, and 11% from stormwater. I just want to streamline that to 50, 0, 4, 10. Simply because his numbers are way easier to deal with and seem to make more sense. We also looked at the planning and zoning clerk, labor for wastewater and labor street, and the planning commissioner that we don't have at the moment on payroll. It's the vacant kind of position, but have those kind of streamlined too. So we made some changes for planning and zoning. Instead of it being paid 40%, 0%, 50%, and 10%, it makes more sense for it to be 50-50 from the general, so town-related stuff and wastewater-related stuff. And I spoke with each one of the people working here to see, hey, does that reflect, you know, the amount of work that you do? And they said yes. Labor for wastewater, in parentheses I put street because the wastewater laborer and a street laborer can help each other out when needed. But we made that pay come from the dominant department. So the street laborer is going to get paid out of MVH 100%, and the wastewater laborer out of wastewater. And I think, yeah, that looks correct. So that doesn't mean that they won't do some work for the other department at some point, but that's nominal in comparison to what their day-to-day activity is. And the planning commissioner also, it was 37, 7, 46, and 10 seemed odd, so we went with 40, 10, 40, 10. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Your questions, issues?
So the easiest way is to look at that clerk treasurer's salary, and it looks like it's increasing by 2,500, which most of you can see that that's more than 2%. But what it is the clerk treasurer's salary in whole has only gone up 2%. The allocation to the
It
general
comes from a
fund has
different
gone up
bucket.
more. So I have, and I'm happy to share, I keep like a salary database. So it has everybody, it's got all the details on there and the allocation so that we can just work the numbers and then put it in here in a concise way. But when it all flushes out, the impact is 2%. So, and then the other change there, admin assistant, which I think is Bry.
Mm-hmm.
And so, that went down because Susie left and Bry started, and there was a difference in the pay there.
Which that's gonna be adjusted
We
slightly
can,
still.
yeah, we
Yeah.
can adjust that. Let's see, building inspector, that's a big, I'm just kind of putting out some of the big ones. I mean, it was just, that one gets all set with permit fees, cause that is a per inspection
Amount.
compensation.
Fine.
And so we looked at and said, well, there's gonna be a lot of stuff to be inspected. We felt like increasing that budget. It's still just paid per,
It's still $35 per inspection. That hasn't changed. It's the number of inspections that we're anticipating. That changes the budget.
dollar amount?
No.
We can make it whatever we want.
As long as we put it in the salary ordinance, approve it, and have the budget reflect that and approve it. Yes.
Is that how much we charge the town?
right, cause that's your official.
How much does it charge town? How much does the town charge for?
That
Each,
de-
each inspection, the town
depends.
gets $50. Are you talking about the permit fees as well?
Yeah, I'm curious to, cause I do think that we're gonna see a lot of that, right?
Yeah.
So, is there a need for us to increase that rate?
We did that maybe 3 years ago. We went through, and I can look at those dates, but we did substantially raise them, but.
raise
we-
the fees that we
We've
charge.
raised some of the fees that we charge, but we've looked and we found that some of the other communities, we have room to raise them as well, so.
That's not for this meeting, right? We can
No.
look at that otherwise. but- Yeah, I'd wanna stay consistent with that, as there's a
Yeah.
lot going on with that.
Yeah.
Especially with all we've got going on.
So that's something on the county side. County side is we're reviewing our permit fees because they've been stagnant
They've
for,
been low forever.
for a long time. Everybody loves the fact they can come and get a driveway permit or right-of-way permit for $50, $125 if you have a sidewalk. They love that, love it. And, we've realized that, we need to do a review of that and increase it, so.
At some point, I would love to see a review of those fees as well as the tax fees.
Bring
That up for conversation at some point.
Well, and while we're talking about fees, and I don't wanna go too far off the point, I think we should consider if there should be a surcharge for sewer service to people that are outside town limits. Because there are municipalities that they charge anywhere from 25 to 50% extra if you have sewer service outside town limits. And then you get people who come in here and say, well, why are my rates going up? And all you're doing is building subdivisions outside the town limits. So that might be a consideration at some point as well. And they don't help us.
Okay. The next item there's the deputy marshal. We'll let Bob speak to that. So take it away.
Just a request for the new one.
Yes. Right here.
Gotcha.
So that includes a 2% raise for the existing head count. The 73,980 change includes a 2% raise for everybody and an additional.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, so the request is, of course, you guys know, we've been busy, we're covered, of course, we're right now, we're a guy short, but our calls have increased, from January 2024 to August, roughly the same time. We had 5,761 calls last year. This year, we've got 8,670 calls. Now, granted, we do a lot of, self-initiated, but that's with the guy short as well. Our reports have gone from 157 reports last year at the same time to 235 reports this year. And we went from 81 arrests last year to 109 arrests this year. We just added a couple more this weekend. So it's time to really start looking at that. So we're kind of request for the councils to get that on there. And one thing that does is It's gonna be able to let me change my schedule for my officers to put 2 guys on per shift. So each person and I will have a partner, get almost certainly guaranteed 24-hour around-the-clock coverage. Even if somebody's off, I should have somebody working. And that's our goal. We want safety, and we want coverage for this town. There are days right now where if somebody takes off, we may be short-handed for 4 or 5 hours before the next officer comes in. So that's kind of a goal with that.
So my question for you is, does that mean that's another patrol vehicle and,
Yep,
and so there's other fees that are gonna be associated with that?
correct. Yeah, and we budgeted that as well here for another vehicle for next year.
Okay.
We've got 3 pool cars, but I've got another one of my cars already back in the shop. And it just seems the more personnel, the bigger we get, the more expenses are gonna, we're the black sheep of the town. We don't bring you any money in, but we provide a service. So yeah, it would be uniforms, it'd be trainings, it would be another car.
Okay.
But the one good thing is, I say good thing, it takes me off the road. Right now, I probably spend 80% of my time on the road, and I really can't do chief duties, which I need to. There's meetings I need to attend, I can't attend. There's trainings that I just can't get to because I have to look up the road. Tyler, with the Zoe's place, I love the place, but we're there probably once, twice a week. And Tyler's my assigned detective for that. So when he's up there, I'm working the road. So we're growing. We need the help.
Do you have, just out of curiosity, because I can probably find the information, do you have comparison numbers for municipalities our size? So our size of,
I could probably go, I
Officers
probably do some
versus-
searching. I know, like, if you look at McCordsville, they've got 20+ officers. Fortville, I think they're at 60. I'm spitballing that.
I'm just curious based
Yeah.
on
They're
where,
bigger towns.
Yeah, they
where
are.
we lie with about 3,500, where we lie for population versus officers.
Yeah,
Okay.
I can tell you that Brookville has a lot more. That came up in a conversation at one of the trainings at the AIM Idea Summit a few years ago, where they have probably 3 or 4 officers more than we do, and they're comparable in size or smaller. And that was brought up by one of their council members thinking that they were overstaffed. And I don't know what came out of it, but it happened to be just part of the conversation in that class.
we've been behind the 8 ball since I really started here. When I first started, the town had about 1,400 people living in the community. And McCordsville had 900. They had 4 officers, and it was just me.
I don't know that 8 ball's the right term to use, but.
Well, we were behind times.
Okay.
It's been a slow playing catch up. The previous marshal prior to me didn't really want help. He wanted to keep everything on his own. So he never came and asked council for more manpower. So it's been a slow build up trying to get extra manpower here. I know it's a struggle. I know money's tight, but the town is to that point where we need that extra officer to be able to get, especially for these guys, as close as we are to Indianapolis and what we are seeing, these guys need partners.
Yeah, Tyler did speak at the finance committee about his time at Zoe's play. I mean,
Yeah, it's,
it's unfortunate, but I just remember him saying that stuck out in my mind about how much time he said to spend working on that.
And all these decisions, though, do keep in mind that our overall income in the next few years is gonna go down. Not to say we shouldn't have an officer, but in all the decisions that we're making,
Because of Senate Bill 1.
this Senate Bill 1 is killing just about all of your property taxes and your local income taxes and your additional fees, as well as your excess levy appeals gone. So overall, expect to make less money in, having less money in income from taxes. That is somewhat mitigated by the fact that we're growing fast and we're adding, net AV simply by adding homes and businesses in the town. So, but overall,
I guess the request sustainable to maintain that extra officer. I'm looking at you.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we've worked it into the budget. I think
Yeah.
Yeah, and we've talked about it. I think it's sustainable. I think Yvonne's trying to say is like, we want to
Just be aware.
conservative, like, right, not get too far out in front of our skis. I don't think this ask is that, because we've got everything, like you said, we've got the police vehicle and the equipment and all the things, because that's usually the right question, is like, well, yeah, the salary, and I think it's a lower salary because he's
You'd be
he's a
starting
new
out.
guy, I don't know what you call
Well,
it
I
technically.
felt that, so I think the thought was we were gonna keep Officer Wally's salary in the
Mhm.
budget,
Yep,
and then the new person that's gonna be replacing is definitely at a lower end.
Yep.
And then our goal would be to, if we could get that other officer on top of, that we would do a lateral process. That way, one, we could avoid going back to the academy, avoid the cost of that. So it was all gonna balance out probably in the end on the lateral.
So this worked in is with, keeping the position that we already have there and just adding a new one.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And I'm not questioning the sustainability of that one officer, but would not be a great, so what, let's hire 3, 4 more. That would be a problem.
Sorry, chief, I was gonna give you 3 officers, but Yvonne said no.
Yvonne said no.
Say 4, 4, 5. Oh, trust me, I would love that, but I understand where we're at.
The lit fund looks like it, even with.
so that's probably my most, like, Yvonne touching on SB one. Property taxes in your community growing, you know, hopefully we offset some of that. Lit is the one that's really unknown, just to kind of touch on SB one and the impact on the town of New Palestine. Because you were under 3,500 based on your last census, you therefore, don't have
Under
the power to
3,500
set your
residents.
destination. Yeah.
Under
The
30.
county is gonna set your tax rate for you. That's what they decided down at the state house, 3,500 and below. So, well, I think your income in the town, I think anybody that's looked at income data on New Palestine understands that you have plenty of, you're relatively affluent compared to maybe the rest of the county. So you should support, you have the income there to support it. It's whatever tax rate the county deems you get or deserve, or however they want to phrase it. So
Who makes that decision?
The
county.
county will.
County
So
and,
if we had
commissioner.
more than 3,500 residents,
I don't know. It's not till 2028. So
But they also, are they deciding it for them and us, or they can say,
Yeah.
hey, this is your piece that you get?
they're deciding it for all the towns that have less than 3,500 residents in the 2020 census. The trick is they make the decision, then the next decision they could make is to keep 75% of it in the county and only pass on 25%. So there's 2 major decisions that the county makes that determine how much money we get. And granted, we're probably right at the cusp of 3,500 residents at the moment, except the last census was in 2020 and said, hey, you have 2,744. That's the number they use. And at the State House, they determined that that was going to be the rule, whether we like it or not. So
Yeah, I think
again,
it's something we
feel
could
free to
petition
send
them
emails
about,
because
though,
they're,
like, hey,
Well, I think that's actually,
it
is it,
still can be adjusted.
am I right or wrong? If you're under 3,500 and they set, you can petition them for more.
the county,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I think you.
I think you
I
wouldn't
think
make
you're
that
gonna. I
decision.
think
Yeah, we-
yeah,
we
you're
should
gonna
be
want to
there.
talk to them. The other piece of this is that nobody knows because the data set's not available. The income data, Department of Revenue, which collects all of our tax information and decides what our adjusted gross income is. They haven't parsed it out to say New Palestine brings in $100 million of taxable income. Like, that's the scramble down there. That's why it doesn't go into effect till 2028 because they got to get all that data. So even if I said, oh, look, if they give you a 1% tax rate, I have no idea what kind of lit that's going to generate because I don't know what income based on New Palestine. They have it by the county because that's how it gets distributed now. So there's still a lot of stuff to do, but I think that's Yvonne's point is like there's a lot of unknowns out there. And that's why we're trying to be conservative, conscious, while keep moving the town forward, right? We got to keep moving. So Public safety lit, that's where
Speaking
we
of
started.
keeping moving.
It might be going away, so, do you wanna keep moving, Ethan?
Yeah.
Alright. So general labor, we reallocated that salary to, I think, MVH, that's why it went away. There, yeah.
Yeah, that is
Okay,
correct.
let's see, town marshal, and then attack Emperor, so you see a little, bump in Emperor's, the 77 plan had an increase in the contribution from 20.3 to 23.3, so that, and that's not something anybody can control, they just decide that. Yeah, gasoline, attorney, I think we looked at what we spent there and the amount of stuff that's coming in. You guys got, Ted and Zach and those guys working on it, so increase that. Professional services, I think that was same thing, similar. Town master plan is one of the notes I had, 26,500 for that.
Going back to the town attorney, did we spend our, what we had appropriated for town attorney, did we spend all of that this year?
Well, if you look at the appropriation report I gave you, that shows what was spent through,
Yeah.
June 30th. So you have, you spend about 73%, 74% of it
Okay.
by June.
So at
So,
the end of
yes.
the year,
Well, yeah, and I,
That's halfway through the year.
Yeah.
yeah, so I just wonder if we, I know we padded it a little bit, I just wonder if we padded it enough. So,
I hope so.
well, let's
but
keep our
there's
fingers
no-
crossed.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do an additional appropriation, right? Remember,
Yeah,
the budget's not done and final, but.
Okay, sorry.
IT, so Yvonne's probably talked to many of you about the conversion that's gonna be required on the accounting system.
I've not talked to everybody about it, but it's something we're looking into. I have today spoken with a third software company we'll look at. We had a demo from the first one. It's gonna be real pricey, but it's gonna be a huge, improvement. We talked to a second one that we weren't as excited about, and then I got the quote today, and it's a huge amount of money. And then I'm looking at a third one, in a week and a half, 2 weeks, to get a demo from them, but I'm not real hopeful. I think that no matter what, it's gonna be a lot of money. And if we're gonna do a conversion, we're gonna go to the most modern software we can get, so that we may be set for 20 years and not have to do another conversion.
More efficient.
It's be a lot more efficient, and yeah, the cost is going to increase, and chances are
No more
conversion,
overtime.
yeah. Less overtime maybe, well, I don't know. I know you don't pay me overtime, but right now it's wholly inefficient. You saw how long it took me to print out 2 reports, to hand to you. So, anyway, it's something that we're gonna deal with, and there is a cost involved, and it's not really avoidable. However, I'm trying to make the best deal I can. If we opt for the first company, which would be called BSNA, it's their cloud program, there's a lot of technical explanation, but, it'll be costly. Unless we are an early adopter, I may have a chance of reducing that transition cost to half or maybe less, knock on wood. That's what my goal would be. If we can be an early adopter and give them feedback, help them to improve things and be quick on that conversion, then the cost may be greatly reduced and may not spend all this money.
Okay.
Do you have any update, Bob, on body cameras? So, new contract.
Yeah, I put a request in, I've heard nothing back. We're coming to the end of it, I believe, next year, so.
I think something interesting though is the fleet cam, that you want that as well, or you?
Yeah, so we carry the body cams now. I wish would be to have the in-car camera themselves. We're still getting by with the body cameras, but when you get behind a car, like on a DUI, it's nice to be able to have that video showing the drive. Yeah, it's very shaking its head. to be able to get that driving behavior, to be able to have better proof of court, to show the officer's actions. So again, not a have to, it's definitely another tool to put in the tool belt, but we're gonna try and still have that conversation, if they can ever get back with me. My last representative no longer works there. He didn't tell me.
I love live PD, so.
Well, I was supposed to have a Zoom meeting, and the guy just never showed up. I'm sitting in the Zoom room waiting for her.
Postage, travel limits, insurance, we put in a 10% buffer, we reached out to them, they hadn't.
They don't know yet.
But they're anticipating about a 10% increase.
Quick question, who's our communication and social media consulting?
You have currently Bry
You
and
mentioned use of
Jenny.
those? Wow.
So
So how do we manage that?
how do we, what do you mean?
Well, I mean, we've spent 68%
Well, you,
through the first half of the year, so
you
it's
got a
paid the
brand,
current employees on a hourly basis, or?
you got a brand new, website that you're paying for. You're also paying for the fancy software we have to do your agendas and your minutes. There's cost involved, and it's not necessarily a social media, directly, you know, related,
Communications.
but it's communications with your people. So you've got the old website that will be going away or has gone away. I don't really know where that stands. It's really a general question.
Somewhere out there.
Yeah, and then, you know, you've got the new website that we paid for this year.
But that's where all
And
that
that's-
stuff comes out.
Yeah,
Okay.
Wastewater rates went up. So,
Really?
Ridiculous. That's awful.
Community support, we increased that, I think it just came out of the finance committee we talked about and felt like,
that is what we used to call Zoe's Place and the senior services. And I think we lumped Summerfest into that. I think
no, it's
that's,
down, Summerfest is actually down in, that, we changed the name. It says community events and outreach, so it said Summerfest, but that budget was 3,000, we increased it to still include Summerfest, but then also, a trash pickup day, and
Nice.
different things like that. I think it was a pretty popular program, so I think that was the idea.
Can we talk about the Nichols building?
Yes,
We hardly spent $100 there. I'm not good at math, but I think that's $98. It's right there in front of me. And Jim, I know this isn't part of this budget, but, you know, we talk about that.
Yes, yeah.
What would that come out of? Because we're looking at like $40,000 to, because that, the brick, which is falling apart on that building.
That came out, that bid came out of, the Stellar grant we were looking to get
And
years
that's about
back.
2 years ago.
Yeah, it's been longer than that. That's 5, 6, 7 years ago. Yeah, so we chased that Stellar grant. That was gonna be one of our projects to have that building refurbished, you know.
Well, that's a good question. I mean, if that building needs maintenance and work, do we need to appropriate some money for that?
We haven't passed 5,000. I mean, before that, we were paying utility bills. We paid every bill that building had for years. And we finally quit that. Gas bill, sewer bill.
But is a tuck point, you know, is that something
That's something separate, yeah.
that's something separate from the maintenance?
No, that would be the maintenance.
Main
We
Street
put a
is
roo-
paid for all the
Yeah.
utilities and stuff.
Okay,
They're-
right, but
yes.
what I'm saying is, we have 5,000 appropriated for it.
Yeah.
If it needs a tuck point, you know, it's only gonna get worse, right? If it needs a tuck point, do we need to appropriate the money to get that done?
Yeah, we've got a roof on it. One thing I do notice is the window seals, they've been painted, but I know the back ones, they need redone, so there's some money that could be spent there. I think we have it right now, but you're right, to tuck point that building, it's a big undertaking. So if you wanna bid that out, look at that, see if we can put that on the radar for the next year or so.
Well, I mean, if we chased it a couple years ago and it hasn't been done,
It's been 6, 7 years ago still, right?
so I'm sure it still needs done. It's,
Yeah.
again, it's just one of those things that we need to appropriate the money for it.
We might have a place for it here in a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say, the general fund is increased by 45%.
Yeah.
Two big ticket items. I don't
Some
think
big
we're gonna do.
strategies that, yeah, we need to talk about.
Okay.
Um. Oh, yeah. Training dues, I think, yeah, you guys are participating, I think most of you, a lot of you guys are going down French Lake in October. So that's what some of that training and meeting stuff, and then obviously what we were just talking about, so we've added a couple of lines, park equipment, furnitures and fixtures. And those are capital outlay lines, which we could use for any capital outlay. We can move that around. But we put in a pretty significant amount to start getting those in there, because if you guys are gonna start moving forward with the project down the road, we wanna start getting that in the budget. But that's something we could use for any capital outlay, like the Nichols building, repair, maintenance like that. Some of the idea here is that when we file for our appeal, we have to show that we cannot operate without it.
Do we wanna show a deficit?
Yay.
So, but we can, so you guys are likely gonna be moving forward with the park, you got that. Nichols building, it's an opportunity to utilize some of these things.
I understand, makes sense.
Yep. And then.
And again, just because we budgeted doesn't mean.
Yeah, that's right. That's 100%. It's the ability to, it doesn't require you to. So with all that, we do have, significant change in the budget, but you guys do have the resources to do it, so. Is there any questions? Did I miss anything from the department heads or any? Yes, we got any more funds to go here. Everybody good?
Yeah.
All right.
This training and meetings, sorry.
Yes.
Yvonne, do we have, since we're all, going to this AIM, if we were members, we got kind of a significant.
You are a member.
Okay, so that's part of it, the membership, because I know we talked about that last year.
Trainings and meetings this year, I mean, there's different ways, like you can say, hey, it's a lot of money for all of us to go to these trainings, we need to do that. Or you can say, hey, this is really significant investment that you are making. You're doing this essentially working for free for the town. Your $7,000 you get for this job will not increase, despite the fact you're going to spend 3 days out of your personal time to go to this training. You're making a significant investment in the town, in the knowledge base that you all have by going to the AIM. Is it a lot of money? Yes. Is it worth it? I think you'll find that it is. And that's the same with all these trainings that Jen and I go to next year. We definitely want to take Bri along to those clerk treasurer trainings. Are they expensive? Yeah, it's like $500 for each one of these, but they start on Sunday and your class until Thursday. And it's essentially no nonsense from 8:30 in the morning until 5:30, 6 o'clock at night.
Well, my point was just, as long
Yeah.
as we're members, it really,
You are members.
we're saving.
Yes,
Yeah.
so to speak.
you are absolutely members.
Even though the number's going up, you guys are members and you're saving, you're going as cheap as possible,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
And I agree, I think it's imperative.
You can stay at the water park and save a couple of bucks.
You could, but then you're traveling back and forth, and chances are you're
No, I
gonna
wouldn't
miss
stay there for
some,
that either. For
yeah, it's not a
you
good.
don't wanna stay there. It's not worth saving money.
So, I think it's a worthy investment, and I think that most of the residents of the town would probably agree
Well, I
that
think
it's
you
a.
have to. You guys have to.
We have to, I have a training requirement of minimum of 14 hours a year and 40 hours in the first year when you're a new clerk treasurer. There's a lot of fun.
All right.
A lot of variance on the front.
All right, the next fund is the LRS, so local roads and streets. We didn't make any changes to this budget. The MPO, membership, I believe that's what that is, right? Steve?
Yep.
1,500, and then 500,000 for repair and maintenance. Sidewalks, I think sidewalks is a program we're getting
We're
going.
throwing about 50 at, well, got down to 49.5, so
Yeah.
Nice.
we're doing that, and then from what I remember from our meeting, we're doing the same next year.
Yep, so we proposed that
Good.
budget. That fund brings
We're
in about
proposing.
$51,000 a year. It's kind of just a balanced budget. We do have some money, you have some cash in there if you want to ramp it up or you see an opportunity. There's, you know.
Well, I've been walking them, so, I mean, we got, by the time we get into next year, I mean, the sidewalks, that will be tight. We get
Good.
some trick or treaters.
Start extending
No
them
skin
down
needs.
52 for Bill.
Sidewalks west of McDonald's.
Everywhere.
All right.
Yeah.
Town center.
All right.
Next fund is MVH, so motor vehicle highways. We've got, the street commissioner's salary there.
Jared, I need to bring up something. So currently, we get the money for MVH and we have to split it between MVH and MVH restricted, 50-50. The one good thing that, one good thing that came out of Senate Bill 1 was that changed it. Now we are going to potentially be allowed to put 60% in MVH and 40% in the MVH restricted fund. And that is based on the fact that our roads are in good shape. The Pacer rating of our roads is over 6. That was a requirement. In that case, we can create an ordinance or a resolution that state that we're going to change that division to 60-40 from 50-50. And I have started that process with Zach. That means not necessarily in this calendar year will we change that split, because our information is based on the budget that we created last year, but we'll have that presented to you in the next month or so. I would think that we could put that in front of you. If you approve it, then that'll allow me to split it 60% in unrestricted funds and 40% in restricted funds. That will potentially change things a little bit for your world, and you and I have not talked about this yet.
So I think we could, the number we have, because there's still cash in it,
Yeah.
that 100,000 at the bottom there can stay. But what that means, I guess, for everybody else is, the money goes to the MVH fund, which can be used on the same things MVH restricted was paid for, but it doesn't require it to be used on the same thing.
Right.
So, in your case, it frees up and makes the money more flexible for different things.
Yeah, it's fine, cause I'm not gonna, you know, the streets the way they are, I'm not gonna find a $500,000
Yeah,
road
100.
project to do by October, so
Or-
I'll be doing a lot of crack sealing. things like that.
And just to complicate things a little bit more, in your budget sheet, there's no split between MVH and MVH restricted, because the state requires me to split that money, but it doesn't require that split in the budget. I know.
You have a separate
Odd.
fund. 2203. The difference on this worksheet is that the far left column, the very bottom number, everything's 2201. The very bottom, it says 2203.
Right.
So,
So that's your restricted fund.
Okay.
So, okay, thanks, Yvonne. I made a note here that we can adjust our stuff.
Okay.
I don't think it will impact the
I
numbers
don't
of the
think it will
budget.
impact the numbers for this coming year, but you and I hadn't talked about it because this is so new.
So we have the street commissioner's salary there with the same, 2%.
Can we stop you there?
Stop me whenever you want. Yep.
This is for Steve's maybe gonna do a little lobbying. I think, with that increase, the way things panned out last year, I'm maybe gonna be making less money than I did last year, if you look at everything. Last year, I was requesting a raise in, I think, the 72.5 range. In lieu of that, because I was a salary position, my wife was brought on with town's insurance. And I think in Chad's words, I'm giving you more than you're asking, I'm giving you a better deal than what you're asking for, and as it turned out, it was. But now, I've got on Medicare, so the wife is off the insurance. So, so you were, as, let me try to explain, maybe. You were essentially giving me what I was asking for and more, and I was asking for 72.5 last year. So, if we would just base this year on a 72.5 and do an increase from that, I mean, I think you guys had some, maybe talked about, and I'm at, 71,280 with the 2%. And I think,
With the 2%, you're at 70,380, and then you have 900 in longevity. Does that sound right?
well, on the line item here, I got 71,280, so is that with the 9?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. And the one was 71.1 was 2%, because I was at 69.
So you're at 69.8.
Yeah,
2% increase would put you at 70,
71.1,
7380.
70,000.
$70,380.
70,000.
70380. And then the longevity, you got another, well then it's 900 with the longevity as well.
So that's the 71,280.
Yeah.
If we left you at that, say we did the 7,500 that you were proposing last year, and we gave you a 2% raise, that'd be 73,950.
If we do the 72.5 and then add 2, it'd be 73,950. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, I think this is a decision piece, right? So making the decision to do that, like that's in your control to move that. I think in the way that we've done it before, I think we're comfortable saying, hey, the same way that we increase for people on Medicare, but would cover a spouse there, right? We've never done that before.
No, that's fine, I'm not asking for my spouse to be covered. I knew the minute that I
Yeah, but
got
you're-
on Medicare that, I'm just saying,
But you're asking,
last year she was on it, and that was a perk in lieu of
yeah, but
monies.
even if the monies you asked for got a 2%, it'd be 73,950. What you're asking is 76,125.
No, that's not.
Okay, I think we're comfortable at the 7380 plus longevity and the insurance compensation that we've done for other people that are moved to Medicare.
73,
No, 70,380 plus the
70,380
longevity,
plus longevity,
which would be the
71,280.
71,280. And in addition to that, as Chad was saying, the healthcare reimbursement for that benefit.
okay. Which is going to, in turn, cost the town less money.
And if I just ballpark numbers, just guessing, I think that's 6,000 on top of that.
A little less than that.
Is it a little less? Okay, I was just saying 500 a month, I don't know.
It's,
Oh, it's a wash, because that's my Medicare.
it's closer to 409.
Oh, okay, my number was high then.
Yeah.
It was brought up too that I could put off the Medicare, but I think if you do that, if you don't get in right when you're supposed to, and I jump in a month early because my birthday falls on the 1st, I think you're penalized 10% for the rest of your life, the rest of the time that you're on Medicare. So I kind of want to avoid that.
Yeah.
So I did get on Medicare, so choose off. So, my 2 cents. Oh, council.
Makes sense. I think what we've got to make sure is that we maintain consistency, and this would be a deviation from that, right? So, at this time, I don't think we're approving anything outside of the 2%, plus the insurance reimbursement and longevity.
Gotcha.
So what's your number?
What you have here plus
49.
4908. So
Just, I just want to
Totals.
get in the Form 1.
76,188. That's using 409.
yeah.
76,188, and it's 409 a month for the health insurance.
That includes the 409. Yeah.
Or wait something, but yeah, be around.
Before you move on from MVH, I'd like to bring up one other thing in there.
You can go ahead.
I see we have nothing in there, no line item for training and meetings, and you've added a new employee in that department that will probably need to go to a bunch of training. Currently, of course, that could come out of miscellaneous, and that would be perfectly logical to leave it there. However, I personally would like to see something that specifies.
I think we always had one of it, didn't we?
I know
Training
it's not been
committee?
in there,
Yeah.
but I think there should be, because the more the state clamps down and wants more reports and more training and more certifications and more of everything, I think even if you take that, say 5,000 out of miscellaneous and call it training, you know, I would just give me a place to put the cost of Steve or Jake's training when it comes up.
Jake will probably go to road school this year in March, Purdue, so I don't eat that. If there's 500 in there, I don't eat all that.
No, I was thinking 5,000. I don't know
Oh,
what,
5,000.
but that would can go for the travel that's included in that, you know,
I'd
the
be comfortable
hotel,
with that.
whatever. So I'm just thinking, just repurposing some of that miscellaneous category into something.
So put miscellaneous down to 20 and add training at
That's what
5.
I'm thinking.
I'm okay with that.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. I definitely am not wanting to cut our meeting short. I'm just letting you all know that at 7:45, my little daughter is going to be doing a marching band thing that I'd like to go to.
Well, then let's get it done. We'll get, I think, I mean, this is the meat and potatoes with these 2 funds. So, understood. Yeah, sure.
And if you need to leave early, you can leave.
Well, I'm just going across the street, so I'm just, this is my 20-minute.
They're marching down Main Street?
I'm just going across the street to high school.
Across the street to the car.
Well, I may go there after.
Yeah. Move. All right, Ethan, we gotta keep moving.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
Yeah, so I don't think, unless anybody has any questions, there were just some minor tweaks to some of those, we had the reallocation of the labor, that was the other thing. The next fund is CCI, that's the cigarette tax fund, and as we do every year, we budget kind of all the resources available. It's a dying revenue source.
Literally.
Yeah, literally. So we'll just, budget everything for that. It's typically capital outlay. One of these days, they'll sweep that into the general fund and we'll just spend that money and close it out and go on, but, CCD, so that's our fixed tax rate fund. It's a 5 cent tax rate. You know, we've just historically budgeted, we've had that $60,000 budget. You know, we bring in, that's a source of, revenue that I think we're gonna look at when we get to these future projects and capital outlay. You bring in about $150,000 a year in that fund. It's typically a capital outlay expense, so you wouldn't wanna put salaries, you can't put operations in there, but,
But if you build a town hall, you can put in the furniture for the
yeah,
town
and
hall.
we've got about 500,000 on that cover page there.
Nice.
You're gonna need to furnish it somehow.
That leasing, law enforcement, continuing education, same thing, I think seatbelt tickets, all the money they make off those big seatbelt tickets there, right? Going
Which
there,
is nothing.
but that's for, the police for training and, equipment, things like that. Edit, so local income tax, another edit fund. Get my notes here, so we have, oh, Jim, got your name all over it.
Some
Jim
machine.
wants a bucket truck, I think, is what my note says.
Yeah, well, utility truck.
Utility truck.
Yeah.
So that, we've historically had a vehicle budget in there, and I think the next vehicle that's needed is the bucket truck.
It has another crane on it, and we talked about the truck that we have now is a 2010, with the crane on it. No, the one with the crane on it's 2009.
It's undersized.
Yeah, and it's undersized, so, we'll go with the larger, probably at 450 with the larger crane, because our pumps are gonna get bigger for the lift stations, and so now's probably the time to do it right before we get the new plant open up, so
So it's just gonna have the crane, not a bucket.
it's just gonna have a crane on it,
Okay.
yeah.
Cause I just know we
used to
bought a
count
new,
bucket.
we bought a new bucket truck and that's not enough money. So,
Can we borrow yours?
I'll
We
check-
do.
change my
how do you
description.
think the tree gets up?
Well, that's a good deal. We bought another crane too.
Well, we don't have one of
We'll
those.
just borrow.
Yeah, you can borrow our crane, we'll swap it out, buddy.
Be careful.
Yeah, pull up a culvert or something.
Okay,
So that's our big,
okay.
big adjustment there for next year.
How are we looking on the rest of our vehicles in our fleet? I mean, obviously, we don't want to replace everything at once because then you get to the
Yeah.
end of the service life and you're in that
Oh,
position again. So
If you remember last year,
keep these things on
we
rotation.
increased to get one more,
Yeah.
and then we basically are trying to get to where we're in a
This
rotation.
will get rid of our oldest one. with
Okay.
the crane on it, which is perfect timing for it. so.
Okay. Yeah.
So I don't think we'll anticipate, and correct me if I'm wrong, to have 200 next year, but it would probably
Yeah.
go around 70, 80 to replace a different vehicle, so that we can
Yeah.
continue that, and we don't get in a spot where we were in last year, where we had.
At least, in a couple of years.
Okay.
This will help us out tremendously.
Okay. Sorry.
The next fund would be your, public safety lit fund, and that's all Bob, and, can only be used by Bob, so, everything is there's the same. Lots of police vehicle repairs, which you guys probably know more about than I do, but, doesn't look
It's
like that's stopping
ongoing.
anytime soon.
Those cameras make it tough.
CAD, slight change there. So we got the vehicle, we talked about the additional officer, the additional head count, so the vehicle's in there, to cover that as well as equipping it and, the radios. So then the last fund there is that police donation, and that's really the fund where the fundraiser for the K-9 goes, and that thing's doing as healthy as any of them, so good job on the golf outing. But otherwise, we do have an increase in the budget overall, but, we identified those large changes. And any questions? Alright.
tell them when we.
You're expensive, chief.
Can I have a taser?
Yeah, it's a little bit.
Yeah, the leftover
I'm
one.
not necessity nobody wants.
I'll
May or may not work.
He didn't hear me.
Drive any of the police vehicles. Dude, I got keys right.
Can I have
I'm
a,
alright, I'm alright.
can I have a taser?
I got some old ones.
He can tase you.
You gotta get tased first.
Yes.
get to be.
In public.
Yes.
Yeah, I can clip them right there, not a problem.
Yeah, we can do that too. I was more pointing to the verbiage here. If you can hit him, you can shoot him.
Public hearing
I
for
could
the
hit it.
budget on the 17th of September.
I am a marksman.
17.
Adopting the budget on the 1st
Yeah, that sounds better.
of October.
Those are regular meetings.
Our next meeting is,
Public hearing.
Public hearing on the
We
budget.
love,
We already
we
adopted the
love
form.
And then,
Last public hearing, nobody said a word.
and then October
I
the
like
1st would be the official adoption
So public hearing on the 17th, you said?
Yeah.
In the meeting.
in the meeting.
we
and
also
it
have planned on the
Doesn't
17th.
change your
We
schedule.
do. I'm not adding anything additional.
Yeah.
It'll be on our agenda.
And then we've got RDC on the 1st, and we've got budget,
EDC on the 1st,
oh,
RDC and town council.
who's first?
EDC,
EDC.
5
New-
o'clock.
5, RDC at 6.
Five?
Yeah.
Yep.
And each
You
one of
might
those,
as well just
planning's
plan
gonna get
for
longer and
people that-
RDC is gonna get longer because
So I filled out the forms for each.
Good
Go.
and awful.
This one.
We're talking about the
COVID.
wastewater treatment plant fees
so
too,
planning
can we
is
have our
gonna
waste,
get
our sewer rates?
Well, I mean,
RDC needs,
you can.
So after we're done talking.
Let me know if you want to do that, Ethan, because I might be sick that day.
He might be on a pontoon boat.
The other shoulders
Calendar.
of each welcome.
Wow.
You don't wish that.
No, I do not.
Dates there's-
Well, I don't have anything else
Really?
Okay.
for the council.
Yvonne, do you have anything?
I don't, you guys have questions, is there anything that doesn't make sense or concern you or?
Only concern if we don't get the excess levy.
Exactly.
So
Well, I'm gonna
let's
my
do that.
part, just like I do every year to write the compelling story that goes along with.
Well, I haven't
the
told you they
calendar.
changed the form, so you have plenty of opportunity to answer a bunch of the questions.
But there should-
Questions,
There should realistically be no reason that we should be denied that.
but realism doesn't have anything to do with the state's decision.
I understand that. I do, but
Well, Ethan,
Anybody writing essays, come and help me with this.
Last year of doing it.
I'm
With
not,
that
but I know
excess
somebody
levy.
who is.
Ethan
All right,
says
bring
that I
it on.
can't make a motion tonight, so.
That's too bad.
do we want to close it?
Closed.
Okay.
All right.
I second.
Ethan, what do you have at the school?
The